guys, it's Dave Ansell and I'm back to tell you about my facelift. Let me rephrase that. When I said my facelift, there's nothing wrong with this beautiful face. But what I will tell you about is this, the Ford Focus ST facelift. From the Mark III Focus to the Mark 3.5 Focus to be exact. And it's not entirely finished. And you might laugh and say, ha, he hasn't done it. Ah, what a joker. I have done it. We are in business. However, time is not my best companion right now. I'm running work, I'm running family, I'm running Focus ST, I'm running all sorts of things going on in my life, and believe me, I've got to get to the post office. You know, it's just manic, absolute manic. And I tell you what, this weather, it does not help. I think the UK is probably one of the worst countries for wanting to do something. You've only got to wash your car, and before you know it, it's raining. And my luck is usually the day I wash it is the same day it gets dirty. So it's sod's law, they call it. So how did we get on with the Focus ST facelift? Right. There was a bit of teething problems yesterday when I was trying to do it. So I've watched loads of YouTube videos. I've seen hundreds of people who have done it, not in the flesh. They've shown me pictures on the internet, the World Wide Web, where you can find out everything. So I was doing it as I was told, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. But first, let me just give you a bit of history. So I arranged with my wife to allow me a few hours, because I'm a family man. When I'm not working, I help my wife out. I do as much as I can to help her with our two children. We have one that's 3 years old and we have one that's just turned 8 months old. And they're beautiful girls. I wouldn't fault them for nothing, but I can imagine with all kids, they're a bit of a handful. Every kid's a handful, eh? Especially when you got shit to do. Anyway, so yeah, not to waffle on, I arranged with her the time. I arranged to do lates yesterday at my own work, my regular proper day job, and that was fine. So I sought out to go and do this. I picked up my parts from the storage, the bumper, and some of the bits haven't arrived yet, but I needed to crack on because I have a guy who's bought this stuff, who's funded my stuff that I've put on, and it's weird, he's bought my stuff so that I could buy other stuff, but he's paid me in advance so that I could put my stuff on. And why do people look at me? Have you ever seen no one YouTubing before? God. Anyway, so I took the bumper off, I unplugged all the lights and everything else, the fog lights, all that jazz had to be unclipped and that. And then I set about taking off the bumper reinforcement panel, which is a piece of plastic that runs flush underneath the front part of the bumper. I hate traffic lights. There's a history of that as well. Anyway, I had to take off all this plastic behind the skin, thinking that it would fit onto the Mark 3.5 bumper. Turns out it doesn't. And this is also the slam panel cover, which sits at the top, which you'll find your little yellow latch. When you pop the hood, you have to unlatch that to lift the hood, and it wasn't the same. So I kind of kicked myself in the ass, in the butt, in the rear end, whatever you want to call it, my donkey ass, and then I had to put everything back together as it was before. I was so pissed off. I went to work really foul, like in a bad mood. Anyway, I got to work, and one of my colleagues helped me out. He's a Ford Focus ST fan, and he told me a bit about what he's done to his car, and he gave me some hints and tips. And this morning I came back, I realised my mistake, which I'm not going to disclose to you guys. You'll work it out. And then we have facelifted the Focus. Yeah, we have. The front end has gone on. I've had to remove the tray underneath because it's a different shape on the 3.5, which means I will have to sort and purchase another one, but that's fine. It can roll without it just for now. I'm only taking nice easy drives to work. I don't plan on driving through any fords or any large bodies of water, so I shouldn't have any real bad problems. So the lights are on, the daytime running lights are working. However, because I have a ST2 which doesn't normally come with the DRLs, I will have to look into which wire has to be moved. I think it's just a case of locating it from one pin to another so that you get the feed with the ignition instead of the feed from the side lights, which are now non-existent. Because the DRLs on the 3.5 facelift have replaced the side light bulbs, which you'll find are 501s, the little push-in bulbs, which are a pain in the arse as well, because you only got to touch them. Like any bulb, you've got to touch them. You have to touch them to get the bastard things out, but you've only got to touch them and then they go. So that's that story. So here is how I did my facelift, and although it's not finished, it looks fucking sick. Now, the bonnet is not in my hands, but I own it. It is primer, so it needs to be painted to the colour of the car, unfortunately, because the guy buying the bits, he's the one who's going to paint it. He's a painter, and his son's a professional painter as well. So I'm proud, I'm happy that I found someone to buy the stuff that has good knowledge for that sort of stuff, because it's all working out perfectly despite the silly little problem of not being able to fit it yesterday. I've managed to latch the bonnet down, although the chimer does come up and tell me the bonnet's open now and again, and I think that's because it's just not shut properly all the way down. I've got a little bit of bubble wrap protecting the front bumper. You'll see in my picture it looks a bit silly, but at the same time it looks quite mental, really. The shape of the bonnet doesn't fit the lights, but I don't suppose anyone else has got this shape focus. Hey. Anyway, the only other problem I had was I was rooting around on the internet to find the fog light surrounds, because I imagine fraud take my money, would probably charge me an absolute fortune to upgrade them, or buy them just as a standalone piece of plastic. You know, they probably molded it for about 7p of the pound, but they'll probably sell it at £90, you know. So I went online and I found this one person who was being really fucking anal about the part. He said that he would only sell it with the fog light, and I already had a pair of fog lights on order, which pissed me off, because I would rather not have a spare fog light. I'd rather just buy what I need and then be done. But this guy was being awkward. He said he would only sell the plastic surround if I had the fog light as well, and in the end I had to cancel my pair in favour of a single fog light for the other side, so that I could buy the dude's one with the fog light. I knocked him down a bit. He was he was unhelpful. He didn't want to let me have it for the price I offered, because it said make an offer. So I made an offer, a sensible one, not a silly one, because I really wanted the part. And I'm prepared to pay for what I want as long as I get what I want, but I'm not prepared to be made to look like a fool, you know. So I came back with a counter offer, and he accepted, which was all good, but it was just a pain in the arse that I had to cancel the original fog light orders, and I had to then source another one for that other side. But that's all good, I can sort that out. The only problem, like I was trying to say, was when I bought the other side fog light surround separately, the picture was upside down, and I was like, oh, that's the one, and I clicked buy, and you probably tell it's eBay. Most stuff stuff comes off of eBay these days. I've had a good life with eBay. I've never had a problem with eBay. You just have to be careful and know what you're doing, and you don't get ripped off, you know. Things are there to protect you. You've got to utilize them as much as you can. But nonetheless, the ball is rolling. I'm driving now with a misshaped bumper. No, sorry, correct that. A misshaped bonnet and no fog lights and no fog light surrounds. But only a few days away until the perfect picture will come. And now I'm going to show you, have a great fun with these pictures of how I transformed the front of my car today.
what, 5 minutes since I wrapped up the last part of the video when I was talking to you guys before I showed you all the pictures of how the transformation for the front end went. And it's really dark already, and the rain is starting to come down now quite heavily. It's just had a little lapse. It's not so heavy at the minute, but it's about to really cake down. I can feel it. You know it's going to happen, because I guess when you live in a country that's on off all the time, you get used to it. But no, we have some good summers though over here. You get rain during the summer, but you know, it's not like some countries where it's torrential downfalls every day of the week, you know. But this country, just like I was saying, it has its moments, you know. My bonnet isn't sealed fully and I wanted to keep it dry, but luck would have it, it's raining, so what can you do? But yeah, I know I was going on to say how late it is in the day, and I've still got to go to work to do my shift. What are we now, 4:30? I'll be finishing at 1 in the morning. By the time I get home, it'll be nearly 1:45, perhaps maybe 1:30, 20 to 2. At that time in the morning, I might be able to have a bit more fun with the car, because there's not so many people on the roads. Generally, during the week days, not a lot of people on the roads at all. You get a lot of Toyota Priuses on the road, and they're all cab drivers and Uber.
they do my absolute nutting. I would love to just pull every single one of them out of their cars and just beat the shit out of them. This guy's in the wrong lane. What are you doing, man? It's a left turn only. Fucking hell. Nice car. I'm surrounded by shit. I'm not this crazy. I'm just having a laugh because you're on. You're watching me. Watching me, watching you. Oh, that reminds me of that Fez girl with her Fiesta. Yeah!